fun. They did a really good job on it so far.
One of my sons told me that he has a friend that took 5 days off work. He took a 5-day vacation.
No way.
Just to play Baldur's Gate.
It's pretty cool.
I had a friend that did that for Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, I played the first 2 Baldur's Gates, and I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my fiance, and we're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I played the second one with my wife right after we got married.
That second Baldur's Gate is hard.
Yeah.
Everything is hard.
Yep, especially when you get towards the end and some of the, like, they've got some quest options. You're like, how in the world do I beat this
Just the
thing?
grind.
Yeah. We were not full, like nowadays we're 100%ers on stuff. But yeah, the first Baldur's Gate, it was like, I think we can finish. Let's go finish this game.
No, it's really fun though. I've been enjoying it.
Cool.
What'd you roll?
What'd I roll?
What kind of character?
What kind of character roll up?
Oh, what did I choose? Gloomstalker Ranger this time.
Nice.
I wanted to see how they did it because it was one of their newer classes, and I've been playing their early access, so I've been playing it for a while. But yeah, no, I think they did a good job on Rangers.
Cool. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. We are recording here in the basement of Dragon's Keep tonight. We're having a little bit of internet problems, so you're watching this a day later as I stream it. So we're just recording it. We're having fun. We're going to play tonight, and we'll get everything worked out for next week. It'll be all good. But until then, I hope you're enjoying watching this on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. My name is Ryan. I'm your host and DM tonight. We've got 3 players with us. We've got a couple people out. We are going to have a guest player again next week. That'll be Mike, who you guys have seen before. And he'll be here playing with us, and we'll see what character he rolls up for us next week. It should be good, whatever it is. It always is.
Sure, it'll be good.
Let's go around the table and just introduce everybody, and then we'll jump right into it. We'll go with the top first. So, Mark, you're up first this time.
Yep. Mark, I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for a long time, since the mid-'80s sometime, playing Eddie the Trickster Cleric. Ryan invited me out to play this game, and having a really good time.
Yeah.
I'm Sam. I'm playing Jack, the Hex Buckler. Yeah, having a good time. He's awesome, really funny. Funniest of my characters I've ever played. So
Nice.
yeah, I usually do serious characters, but I'm a Jack. Anyway,
I'm Jason. I'm playing Zafrina, the Divine Soul Tiefling Sorceress. Also been playing Dungeons & Dragons a long time. Over somewhere between 25 and 30 years. Been playing Dungeons & Dragons.
Nice. Yeah. Good stuff. We were just talking about editions that we all love and what everybody plays outside of this. And we got some good, strong sentiment for a second edition.
very moving.
Yep. Yeah. Tonight we're still playing in 5th edition, although coming up in October we are going to play some Dread this year. I've written out a module that'll go along well with this, hopefully, depending on some decisions you guys make tonight. We might have to change things up, but we'll see how it goes. Let's just jump into the story then. Okay. Previously on Dragon's Keep TV. You guys fought a big golem statue outside the pit around what is now a pit, but used to be the great laboratories and scientific center of the city of Form, below which you understand from your what you've gathered from your Soulstone friend Solus that still cracks me up. That below that is the vault that you guys are looking for in particular, and somewhere below that also is hopefully his body that maybe you can find. All right, but before you head down there, you guys wussed out and decided you needed a long rest.
What's out?
Yeah, that was totally our choice.
Like 2 spells left.
You guys ran out of resources.
0 hit points.
Which is great.
I'm fine. I don't need a long rest. I'll go down there right now.
I think I said last time that it's fun for me. It's actually fun for me that you guys are taking a long rest. It gives us a little role-playing session tonight, and I don't usually push you guys to the point where you need a long rest, even though we often take one in between sessions. So it was kind of fun to have you having to make hard choices and deciding what you're going to use and finally just getting to the end of it. Yeah, it was fun to see all that going on last time. Okay, we do have a couple of Alex is out tonight. And our guest from last week was not able to make it back tonight either. So Huggles Stormkin.
Huggles.
And
I still think he should have been a gnome.
and Moonwell are both out tonight. Sorry, I was just bringing up some character sheets. For some reason, D&D Beyond keeps logging me out. I have to log back in constantly. I don't know who changed that, but fix it. I'm tired of having to log in all the time.
How dare you try to be secure?
When I wake up, I want it fixed.
There are some things that are okay to be secure, and then other things it's like, come on, really?
Okay. So, tell me what you guys do to find a spot to rest. What are you looking for?
Well, I figure we just go back to Huggles base camp. They've been resting there for how many days, and they are still alive?
Yeah, he's been there for a couple days.
Yeah. I think
what I
it's
was thinking.
safe to assume that
His parents.
Still have to be fed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's smart.
Okay. This dilapidated house, or whatever it used to be, has, like you said, it's mostly got safe walls, and it's got a roof on it. And even if the second story is kind of busted up, the first floor is not in bad shape. Okay. What is your plan for the evening then? What would you like to do?
well, we want to set up a perimeter, I guess, where people can rest and watch for things. And then also, I am a human that needs 8 hours of sleep. Anybody need less than 8 hours of sleep?
I only need 4.
Okay.
I also.
Yeah, I'm an elf.
So we could do 2 watches.
I thought we
then.
all had half elves. You were full elf, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I love
Huggles
elves.
is a half.
Elves are
That's
my
right.
favorite.
I'm a half demon, but I still need rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They still
While they're sleeping, I'll go explore their sacks or something.
Okay. Always a good idea.
I'd also like to take some time and see how much variance is between the knowledge that Solus had and we've been able to collect versus what the reality of
Sure.
things are. Like,
Sure.
because obviously there's some differences. Some buildings have fallen down. There's a giant crater, but for the most part, it has seemed accurate, minus a few defensive systems that you probably didn't even realize were there because
Right.
it was warforged.
Right.
But I just want to see if there's anything else that jumps out to me and was part of my reviewing the information.
Sure. Okay. And what's Jack up to?
So before everyone goes to bed, and before he takes his watch, I think he would go explore the surrounding buildings just to see if there's anything
Okay.
shiny
Cool.
or valuable.
And what's Eddie doing?
Well, if it's before the long rest, then he'd probably cast divination. And he would ask Timora. Let me see how many castings of that. Hang on, let me see how many I have left before I burn out some trivial. Oh no, I have 4 of them left. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and do one. And let's see. What should I'll consult with these 2 before I anything you would want to get an answer from or a guidance on from Timora?
Who's tomorrow?
She's Just the best. And I think we've talked about her before. I think she could really help you out with your luck stuff that you're after. You need some luck. But anyway, if I were to cast divination and ask Tamora something about,
We have painfully little information on the Chateau Leviathan. So anything that she could provide there would be of most help.
Okay, so when I go ahead and cast that,
Anything inside the lab or vault that we have to worry about? That'd be nice to know.
oh, okay. Which one? I can only ask one question.
That's your choice.
Casting.
Who is more important to you?
To be fair, we already
Actually,
have...
what I'm going to ask is, I will ask Tamora if the Shadow Leviathan has any weaknesses.
Okay.
I like that.
All right.
She's your favorite. I get it.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
I'll just side-eye you like, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Just making some notes. All right.
I need to have some art done of Sabrina.
I know I need to do some art with Jack. Maybe Alex. We could talk Alex into doing it. He's a pretty good artist.
I'll just see.
Or I'll use those AI generators.
We do have a bit of a theme with AI-generated content here.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe we should do that.
Maybe I'll take a look at some
You know what would be
AI-generated art.
hilarious is to start a campaign and make everybody use the AI generation
my
for their
gosh.
backgrounds.
I'll do that for my dread characters that I bring.
There you go.
I'll do that for my drug characters too.
Okay. As Zafrina is comparing notes, the map that you've kind of put together so far of the city of Form seems, like you said, pretty accurate. There are places that he knew in more detail than others, and a lot has changed as far as broken down buildings and whatnot. But the map that he gave you is fairly accurate, and so you can trust that. You probably know a good way to get down to the vault, like that. I think you would extrapolate that his directions down to the vault are probably accurate as well. The defenses that he talked about were mainly traps and guards and things. He
Probably don't have to worry about guards as much.
what you may need to worry about though is just stuff that maybe he'd forgotten about.
Yeah.
Because it didn't ever matter to him. Like those golems, for instance, those statues probably
not
never activated.
You probably never even realized those were defenses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he does list several stops along the way where you could be locked in to rooms and things where people trying to get into the vault, even Warforged, would have to pass through these different gates and security.
Are they like
places and
airlock
stuff.
style locks, or?
Yeah, like in a bank or a prison or something like that, right? Where
I've never been in a prison.
okay, like movies of people in prisons.
You've never taken a tour of a jail or anything?
I've never had any reason to.
That's fair.
So like in movies or whatnot, you'd go through one gate and then wait for the other one to open up, that kind of thing. And he mentioned that there was a lot of magical ways to hold people and to entrap people once you got down to the vault. He didn't mention anything that was particularly deadly, though. So
You have
To
the
a
Pokeball.
well, good point.
It's got Warforged in it.
I got the Pokeball.
That's right. He did
with
have
a
bow.
war forged in it that you
Yes.
could potentially like throw at somebody, right? I don't know.
It might not be a bad idea to have 8s try
Actually, I don't
and
think I have it
communicate
anymore.
with that
I think 8s.
soul.
Oh yeah,
During the rest.
let's do that
Yeah.
during the rest. Let's have 8s communicate with.
All right.
I think 8s has it anyway.
Okay, so I
don't
get to
have
talk
it
to
anymore.
myself for a couple minutes. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't
Bring
have
us.
to.
Do what we did before with the Solus.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're going to get out
I'll
of
just
that.
pop around from camera to camera. So the people
We'll just turn all the
like
cameras.
come in this way.
There you go, there you go.
And come back there. Okay. So he does mention some traps, magical traps that would hold people and keep them
Trapped.
trapped. Thank you. But otherwise, doesn't mention anything particularly deadly.
Okay.
They weren't in the business of just killing people trying to get down to the vault.
No, I
necessarily.
mean, he didn't know about the golems or anything like that, so
Right.
this is all what the Warforged would know. Not
Okay.
thieves.
Exactly. Exactly. Jack
Yes.
is exploring around, and how long are you out and about for?
I don't know, an hour.
Okay.
Just, I wasn't that tired, so I'm like, I'll go explore.
Okay. As the
Not super far. I'll just do like the close buildings.
Oh.
So however long that would take.
as the sun's going down, then if you're out for an hour, go ahead and make 2 investigation rolls for me.
Oh, one of them's bad. I'll give you the bad one first. That's all.
Okay.
Dirty 1,
Okay.
and then a 12.
All right. Roll a D100 for me.
76.
All right. You don't find anything particularly magical necessarily or useful that way. You do find a house where one of the walls has not been like just. It still has like glass in the windows, like something was shielding it. It was shielded maybe by the building next to it. And inside that home, you find a room where there is some artwork on a table. It looks expensive. It's got some gold inlay on it, and it's a statue of a. You know what? It's one of those like statues that you give your mother on Mother's Day, where it's like a mom warforged, like holding her daughter, or like giving a piggyback ride to her daughter, warforged.
I just see the gold and I take it.
What are those the Hummel dolls or what are
Yeah,
those?
it's called anyway. Something you buy at the Hallmark store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was just looking for anything valuable. So.
Okay. And that's probably worth about 25 gold
Okay.
if you were to sell that. So make a note of that.
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to keep track of all the
Nope, I
stuff
got
you
you.
guys find. So some artwork worth about 25 gold.
Great. Yeah, after I check the surrounding houses, I'd head back.
Okay. All right, you arrive back in about an hour, and you see that Eddie is set up an intricate game of what looks like mousetrap
You know,
on the table.
there's little bits and stuff. There's even a little ball of lint that I've assigned some kind of importance
Value.
to in this little amalgam of stuff.
What you doing there, Eddie?
Just asking questions.
It seems very
And
complicated.
as the incense is burning, and then I will ask Timora if the Shadow Leviathan has any weaknesses.
In his comment too, it looks complicated, and I say, the gods are often not simple. I was like, at least not the ones that rule above.
Yes. Yes, there are those devils that are pretty straightforward. Right?
And
That's fair.
oftentimes lay out all the clauses and conditions up front and in advance.
Even if it's like white ink on white paper. It is there. You just can't read it. It's okay. It's whatever.
All right. So I'm just bringing up some lore here.
Actually, one of a really cool character that I'd love to play is someone who has a background as like a lawyer or whatever, who was able to gain his pact with a being through a contract that he wrote.
That'd be fun.
And it would be even better if that being was evil, but the lawyer's actually a good lawyer, which, it's a juxtaposition, but we have to suspend our disbelief for the game.
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy setting.
Exactly, fantasy setting. And then have him use the evil power for good, leverage it against him, and maybe even have that demon or whomever try to, give the consent of the DM to come after him now and then to try to break the contract or try
That'd
to
be fun.
find ways to break the contract.
Try to exploit loopholes, potential loopholes.
That'd be pretty fun. You would actually have to write up the contract though. In order
Yeah,
to do
for
that.
sure, for sure.
That'd be fun. Not for the DM, depending on who the DM is. Unless he enjoys
You'd have to
that
have
stuff.
buy-in from the DM. That's true. You couldn't just show up in a game and be like, "This is what I'm doing."
This is my contract that you have to sign off on because you're the DM. And you just said bring a character. This is my character.
Okay, I think I've got my lore straight. Go ahead and ask your questions.
That's the only question. If the Shadow of Leviathan has any weaknesses.
Okay. Yeah, this is divination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she can reply any way that she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to write a rhyme
Okay.
tonight. I'm not
You
even
wanna
going to
do
ask
riddles?
ChatGPT to write a rhyme.
No.
That might be fun, but
Do it.
No.
Pull it up real fast.
Should I?
I
I mean, if you want to do a rhyme.
She's never rhymed with you before. That's
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's just sorry. That's so anybody watching. If you don't play a divination wizard
Oh, yeah.
or other cleric, divination can you can ask a single question concerning a goal, event, or activity to occur within the next 7 days, and the GM offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen.
So I guess I didn't really ask a very good question, did I?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay.
Because you can assume that you're
We're
headed
gonna
somewhere
have to
that
fight the
Yeah.
The Shadow of Leviathan was at.
Mm-hmm.
Historically speaking, so you can assume that sometime tomorrow or in the
Within
next
7
7 days
days.
you might meet up with him. So
I think that's when the ship's coming anyway, so.
correct. Yeah,
You
you
just
guys
get the
have
ship to fight the Lord.
you guys have 6 days left here in Form.
Well, yeah, that's right. We're on a timetable. Huh?
Yeah. Up on the roof, or higher up, can we see where the port is?
Yeah, you were left there, so you can see this giant bay. My window is a lot smaller. I keep forgetting that people can't see my hands.
Oh, really?
Out here and stuff. Yeah. If I was I need to rearrange this so people can see because I talk with my hands a lot. So you see a big horseshoe bay out in front of the city. And at the far end, it's small, but you can see where the land starts to come together, and that's where the ship has docked, or maybe at least put anchor down.
Oh, so we
just
can actually
outside.
see the ship that we came on.
Right. So
Okay.
I think the plan was that you would signal them when it was safe to come in closer.
I don't
And
remember.
so
that was
they're-
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we were going
that's
to
what
use
I
sending
remember.
for that.
Oh, yeah, use sending. Just use sending to tell them. Not set up a giant fireworks display.
We could do that too.
They might leave if there was a giant
fire.
fireworks display. But so they're waiting just outside the
Okay.
bay, and then you guys hiked in from there.
I do remember that.
Okay. The items on the table start to roll around by themselves and form into this whirlpool spiral as they start to spin around and around and around. As you're staring at them, you find yourself getting lost, feeling like you're falling into this blackness, and like a mist, it parts in front of you. And you get just a brief vision of a landscape that you've never seen before. In front of you is the earth itself is dark, mulchy, like mulch-colored dirt and rock everywhere. You see a tree every now and then growing up, but it's twisted and curves back around like a Joshua tree, where it spreads out but is all mangled and twisted. The sky here is encompassed by clouds in the same spiral that you saw in the design of all of your tchotchkes and whatnot. As you look up, you see these two eyes form in the sky looking at you. And they stare at you intently and seem to be studying you. And you hear a voice in your mind that says, "Ask me your question."
Do I have any clue to what this thing could be with all the symbology or anything?
I don't think so. Make a religion check.
Religion check?
Yeah.
What do we see?
You guys just see him staring at these, and he's gone quiet. And
Do we
his
see the
eyes-
items move or anything, or are they just...
No, just Eddie sees him moving.
9.
In fact, how about this? You
That's
see his
a plus
eyes
5.
go white. His pupils are gone. A 9?
Might not be a bad opportunity to burn one of them luck points.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'll I always forget about luck, because nope, worse. I rolled a 4 and then a 3, so...
Okay. You never went to any seminary or anything like that.
Sure, yeah.
Tamora doesn't have any school where they teach that kind of stuff. So you don't know what you're looking at or anything.
Then I posed the question.
Okay.
I was simply asking if the Shadow Leviathan had any weaknesses.
The voice in your mind, the eyes squint at you a little bit, and the voice in your mind says, "Why don't you come visit me and find out?"
I'd love to come visit you. Where are you?
I'm not far.
Oh, okay.
I can feel you and the others with you. Bring me your precious memories and let me see if I can improve them for you.
Okay.
Done. Scene.
And just like that, you're sucked back through this vortex and find yourself back in front of the table again, leaning against it.
Well, I will relate all of this to them.
So you just gave the Leviathan our position.
He already kind of knew where we were. I don't think he moves from wherever he is.
So he's lazy.
Or trapped.
Or fat.
It's true.
He could be a fat Leviathan.
He just can't get through.
Probably not to thin the
Could you make a double door on this portal?
He's the chunky dragon.
Oh, my kids love that part.
Yeah, it's so great.
I
love that.
And
My
You know that that's
9-year-old
a-
is like, can we watch the Chunky Dragon again? She just wants to watch that part.
That's the best part.
That and she loves what's his name, the paladin.
Oh yeah, the paladin.
Oh yeah, he made
She loves him too.
that
She thinks
paladin
he's
was
hilarious.
awesome.
The Chunky Dragon is actually a real dragon from
Yeah.
D&D. His name's
Embershard.
Ebonshard. He's raised by dwarves, and the dwarves, they raised the red dragons to a certain point, so they can light their forges. But then when they get to a certain age, they kill them because they don't want them to get super powerful. Eben Shard found out that's what they were going to do to him, so he ate all the dwarves, and that's why he's fat.
And he ate the
That's
other
why
one.
he's fat.
Did he eat the other one?
Oh, that was so great. Yeah. Just
sorry.
Go see the D&D movie. If you
So
haven't watched
funny. I recommend it. Definitely one of my favorite movies.
it. So what do you say? What do you say?
I mean, I'm done with that. I was just telling these guys. I just related it all to them. And he tells me to come see him and give him his memories.
If you want,
Give him
Zafrina
power.
could make a religion check as well.
Sure, and I
After
will
I
guide
made it.
myself.
Okay.
What color were the eyes?
Red.
Red eyes. And you thought I was your goddess?
21.
I mean, that's who I was trying to
Okay.
contact, but apparently he intercepted it. So we must be under the realm of his power or something.
Did the land that he see, was that like the land where we are now?
No.
No, it was different.
Yeah.
Would I have a guess at the plane of existence, or was it a different plane of existence?
So Zafrina, in hearing that described to her, recognizes that and knows that these other planes exist. You don't recognize it as one of the 9 hells necessarily, and so
Maybe like an adjunct plane like Shadowfell or the Feywild, something that's on a similar area as ours, but just next to ours.
Yeah, you actually, you recognize it as, I just want to double check before I commit to this. Because suddenly I'm realizing that I don't want to get in trouble with any like hardcore Forgotten Realms peoples out there.
Well, this is a Forgotten Realms, so you can.
It's
make
true.
it
I
however
can.
you want.
We are Forgotten Realms adjacent,
Yeah,
so we can do whatever we want.
exactly.
Okay. You recognize like the description of the black chasms and some of the landscape from where the earth is just barren and everything. You recognize that as the plane of Gehenna, which is known as the bleak eternity.
Do you know anything about its denizens?
With a 21, yeah, you know that there are underground layers of it that are volcanic, lava-based. You've heard of stories of the fires and the lava that flows underneath the surface, and that the air will, like when they erupt, it will fill the air with just ash and soot, and that's what covers the ground everywhere.
So
It turns it all black.
It's similar to some of the planes of hell, but
Yeah, but is a
more an adjacent plane.
yeah. It's on the outer plane, but is not one of the 9
Okay.
layers of hell. The 9 planes of
Sounds
hell.
lovely.
Can I just explain that? And do I know anything about any of the types of creatures that may live there or entities that might?
You got a 21?
Yeah.
Okay. You know the most. You know that most demons, even lesser deities that you know of, avoid Gehenna because of some of the very powerful and chaotic and evil creatures that are there. While you're not familiar with the Shadow Leviathan specifically, roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roll a 10-sided die. We'll see which one
10.
you go. Oh, 10. Oh, fun.
I don't like that. Reroll.
Anything the DM thinks is fun.
Right?
Generally.
You have heard of... Is he a god? Yeah, okay. You've heard that Gehenna is the home of one particularly nasty god of the orcs, Shargos, the orcish god of the cold, the dark, and the night. Patron of orcs that acted stealthily in shadows, the brooding stalker below. He plotted the death of the living from the lightless realms deep beneath the surface.
And what's his name again?
Shargos. He was their god of undeath, though not death itself, and the embodiment of the orcs' fears, the fear of the unknown and the fear of what lurked in the night.
Okay, so it was a god of the orcs, but it's kind of like the orcish boogeyman.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So the thing that the orcs are afraid
John
of,
Wick.
Right.
that's this guy.
Not Baba Yaga. Different thing.
No, Boogeyman and Baba Yaga are the same thing. Just Russian.
Well, I explain
Well.
all that. And I'm like,
So that's what you know about Gehenna.
Great.
it's like, but the phrase "come visit me" makes me think that it can't leave where it is. Perhaps it's stuck in an in-between place.
Could be. And
So we
it could
don't go visit it.
Well, I mean, we definitely loot first and think about visiting. We'll see. We may come back.
You want to befriend it?
No. Destroy it.
I don't know if we can destroy it.
We can bleach it with holy fire.
How about we let you go do that?
I mean,
First and foremost, I want to get paid for this mission.
That's true.
So I want to go to the vault, steal a bunch of nice shit, and get out.
If they pay us to kill the Leviathan, I'll go do that.
well, yeah, kind of. And if we could suss out where it is, wouldn't be bad. So we know where to come to cleanse the city.
Yeah, so none of the Warforged, remember that none of the Warforged you met before
Are aware that it's
are
there.
aware of the...
Right, so
and
perhaps maybe the idea is we collect as much information as we safely can and say, as promised, here's all the information on form. We did find a soul. However, we did find some extremely pertinent adjunct information that you will want having to do with the calamity that befell.
Yes.
That is...
And then the extraction fee, right?
that we would like that information is for sale to you first, and yeah, it was a small cover price plus extraction plus hazard.
Storage, long-term containment.
Oh right.
your Ghostbusters down. Tell them about the Twinkie. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite lines. There's so many good ones. But tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkies? The way that
Does
Gomer's.
Eights talk to the new soul?
All right, so Eight's, and I'm going to retcon a little bit before of what happened. You asked me if Eight's could see it, and I think she was not able to see the soul until you caught it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so going
Okay.
back and listening to that from the week before,
Right, because you did say she could see it.
it makes more sense if, and it makes more sense as to why any excursions from previous Warforged didn't come across any
Right.
of this and didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Definitely.
Does that make sense? So, I think they said that they had been here twice. Is all in the last 100 years because they find a bunch of crap and then they just want to study that for
They get
100
like
years.
10 feet in and then they come back.
And they're like, okay, we'll come back again later. Anyway, but when they come, the Warforged don't see any of these souls
Right, they can just walk in.
floating around or anything like that. Correct.
Cool.
Okay. So once you catch it though, and it's inside this amulet,
Pokemon. Pokeball.
the pendant.
Pendant ball.
Then suddenly Eights is surprised and and very interested in whatever it is you've got in there.
I would just give it to her.
And so she's keeping
Yeah.
it inside her chest plate, and she says, "I think that, yes, I think perhaps I can hear her talking to me. It's very weak, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Is there something that you want to know?"
What its mission was. I mean, it was just wandering out trying to zap people's memories, right?
I don't.
Not this
This
one.
one was
Not this one?
friendly.
Oh,
Yeah, the other ones were, but this one just
this was floating around.
just floating around. It was the one that was hitting the sign. Remember? Of the,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so often.
So I don't really have any specific questions. Just any general information you can glean. If it's weak, if there's anything we can do to help strengthen it.
Yeah, we can give.
Wouldn't want it to
part of
expire.
this whole-
If it has any information about what's been happening here, just
It doesn't. She doesn't seem to know what's happened. She's trying to get somewhere. Just a moment. She's saying something about the Great Spark Festival. I don't know what that is, but she wants to go there.
Where is it? Can you ask her that?
Oh. Yes, it's in the main garden. The park here in Orem.
Yeah, where I drank the water.
Yeah, where you drink the water at. But no, she thinks that there's some carnival or festival going on there. She's excited to.
Ask her if she knows who the president is. I mean, what date it is.
She says it's Bush.
Oh, wow.
which one?
That's 2 different decades.
I was hoping for that. Fun. Sorry, what were you
What's the
asking?
What's the star date?
What's the start date?
Yeah. When is this Spark Festival supposed to happen?
Oh my goodness. She says it's shortly before her 24th birthday. She was born. Oh my dear. She was born over 100 years ago.
So she's stuck in a loop.
So
Oh, and she starts to twitch.
Uh-oh.
She's. Oh no! I perhaps should not have told her that. And you see Eight's like double over, and like clutching at her chest plate, and then finally she like ejects this little pendant, and it just rolls across the floor, and it's like shaking and wobbling like a hamster ball, just going back and forth constantly.
I'll go pick it up.
Rolling around, and you can feel whatever's inside of it vibrating really
Like
violently.
it's like hitting against the
Yeah.
walls.
can we?
I'm afraid that I've made a mistake. I told her that quite some time has passed since that event, and she's a little agitated about that. I don't think that she believes me. I don't know if she knows who I am.
Probably not.
So this soul lost 75 years of time, which is...
No, 100
years
years.
of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is 100 years ago is when Orem fell.
Right.
So that adds up. And
But now we know there was some type of celebration, an event, perhaps that could have played a part in
did it
triggering this.
look like there was a festival whenever we were there?
No, everything kind of gets been blown away and grown over. But AIDS can describe it. She can tell you what this
She know
soul
what a
was
spark-
looking forward. She said she was looking forward to the music there and the bright banners, and she was going to buy something nice from one of the vendors. a new necklace that she was excited to get, that she had seen the day before.
I'm not familiar with Warforged culture specifically, but in some humanoid cultures, 24 years of age is still considered very much a child, such as like in elven cultures.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, they would be considered a child.
Is a child like in human cultures? They're obviously an adult at that age. How do Warforged consider maturity?
We are constantly growing. I am only a year and 8 months old myself.
Sure. And are you aware of when a Warforged has gathered enough experience to be considered mature and?
I think what she's trying to ask is, when do you guys become adults?
I don't rightly know.
Is that even a
Tobias-
concept that exists among Warforged?
Tobias found me and found this body for me just a year and a little bit ago. I don't know much about Warforged culture at all, but from what I can remember before that.
I'm trying to understand if we're dealing with a child or an adult.
I know that Tobias was quite old, having been created even before, since no Warforged, he told me that no Warforged had been created in the last 100 years. So I feel like I'm very old, but there's many things I don't understand yet. I think we perhaps understand things a little bit differently than human children do, though. We are much more logical and we dive into topics much more deeply than what I have seen what I've been told that human children do at schools and things. I learned to read only in 2 days,
Do you think you possess the
for example.
power and ability to serve as a bridge between Solus and our newly acquired Soulstone?
Oh dear.
If those two could communicate, perhaps it would be comforting to our 24-year-old necklace seeker.
I could certainly try.
I don't want to do anything that would potentially damage or harm you, but if there's something you feel you could do safely, then that might be beneficial and it might help us endear us to both of them.
Sure. Is that what you'd like me to try?
Any
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't have an objection.
She asks for, I think Jack is keeping Solus in the bag of holdings most of the time, right? Okay.
Yeah, just Solus might be willing to provide some comfort to a survivor, another potential survivor. Just explain the situation, see if he's willing to help.
I will try. He did seem to at least recognize what had happened.
Right.
I'll hand him over.
Okay.
Both of them.
She takes the Solus stone. It is still like kind of emitting light, like almost like sun spots, or what are those arcs called? Anyway, every now and then will flick out from where it's cracked a little bit. But then she puts that into
Flares.
Oh,
flares,
solar-
sun
yeah,
flares,
sorry.
solar flares. Thank you. I couldn't get sun out of my head. I needed solar. That was the problem.
Sun flares, solar feathers, whatever.
So she takes that and slowly and gently puts it into her chest
Socket.
and then I don't know what should she do with the other one. She
Just as two sides, put it in the other side.
yeah she'll like pop this one open though. She opens up the amulet and places it inside as well.
Three-way call.
Yeah. It's a,
Zoom conference call.
Can you hear me? Hello.
and she pushes dial
Is anyone
again.
there?
Three-way calling.
Let's roll a die. Let's see what happens to her. We'll leave it up to the dice.
Yeah, well, do we have to?
Guidance?
Yeah, with adding a D4.
Oh, it's not good. Is anybody on roll 20?
Yeah, I am. What'd you roll?
Ooh. One.
Let me show the recording. People over looking. Oh, they can't see that part of it.
Yeah.
She dies.
All right, so 8's rolled a 1. Sorry, Troy.
Troy, roll a new character.
He has a couple other. He's played 3.
Does luck let other people re-roll?
No.
Not unless it was bountiful luck.
Can I help and give them advantage?
No.
Okay.
Like with a 1, even bless isn't gonna.
No. I just
Guidance
the
isn't
help
gonna help.
action will usually give advantage.
Yeah. Okay. 8 starts to glow herself, and you can see these tiny cracks starting to form in her plate as the two. She screams out, "They're talking to me! They're arguing! They're fighting!" Ah! And you
try
see her
to
just
take 'em out
fall
or
over,
something?
like her power just shuts down, and then she just falls over backwards, clunk. And you can hear like dice rattling around inside her chest cavity.
All right.
I would rush up and
Try to
open the cavity and get them out.
Try
Okay.
to extract them.
Okay, make a dexterity check for the one that you found here in form.
And this one I can't. Can I offer guidance here?
Yeah.
So you get to add a D4.
It shoots out as soon as as soon as you pry open that little compartment.
27.
Okay, and you snag it back into the amulet.
Cool.
Immediately.
Bad Pokemon.
Okay, so you still got that one. Solace, that soul stone is not like.
He's not the
He's not
agitated one.
agitated. He's not like moving around. He never has.
So it
actually.
was like
So-
this one that was
yeah.
causing
He's
the
just
problems.
like, they'll come to accept it in time.
Okay. And so he
eight's,
can
like,
go back into
unconscious
your.
now?
And 8's is we'll put 8's unconscious for the rest of the night.
Okay, so then you said I could just grab Solus though.
Yeah. So Souls can go back in the.
Okay.
And so it's almost like it's a different form. Like this energy ball thing is not necessarily a stone. In
It's
stone
just a
form.
loose soul.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better way to describe it. So whereas Solus is like actually the energy encapsulated in this egg / soulstone, whatever, right? And you can see that the 8 has one inside her as well. That's her own, right? That is this opalescence rock-looking thing, right? This other thing, if it's not inside that ball, is just a glowing orb of light, of energy, pure energy itself.
So part of the cataclysm could have been the shearing of these souls from their stones. I mean,
Perhaps.
that's what it looks like, potentially, yeah.
I'm interested, though, as to why the Warforged can't see them.
Well, would it be akin to seeing a ghost or a spirit, potentially, for them? I don't know.
I almost wonder if the Shadow Leviathan eats these like souls.
Could be.
Because remember, you said that bring me your memories, right?
Mhm.
That's basically what a soul is memory.
I'm not sure that's entirely true. Perhaps made out of similar stuff.
Now, the cataclysm, we're assuming the Shadow Leviathan caused it, or is it the Shadow Leviathan a
That's what
lurker?
Solus told you, that the Shadow Leviathan appeared when Apex was trying to activate or whatever this new energy that he was talking about in being able to create new soul. He wanted to create new soul stones, right? And harness this energy. Did you guys ever? I don't think we did that. We talked about doing another session with Solus on the ship. That I don't think we
never
ever
did that.
did.
We never did it.
We never
Yeah.
got to it.
Sorry, there's some more lore there. The important thing is that like you were.
I know Aids was
Eddie
working
was,
with them.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
right.
never
And then we
did
never
it,
came back
yeah.
to it.
I know we did it, but we never actually role played it. How about
Okay, so the important lore dump that you need from that, the one thing that you need from that is that whereas Tiznip was trying to extract energy from dragon eggs or dragonborn eggs to create soul stones, and trying to hurry it up that way, that Solus and Apex and other Warforged never thought that it was their belief that the energy that formed soul stones was just out there in the ether,
Okay.
and their belief was not that like it was some reincarnation or there wasn't some other soul being sacrificed necessarily, but that this energy was out there, and if you were to pull enough of it into a stone, that it would.
Become conscious.
It would awake.
Yes, exactly. That it would wake up, and that's where the soul stones were coming from. But it was very difficult to do, and that's why soul stones were hard to come by,
Right.
which is why Tiznip wanted, a better way to do it, so he could make more Warforged. Except for he was a big jack off and decided to try and pull it from
Existing
things.
Well, I mean,
And,
if you need a certain amount of energy, soul energy,
Yeah.
and you start with one soul energy, converting one soul energy to one
Yeah,
soul
exactly.
energy is pretty easy, right?
So
Theoretically.
Yeah, easier than feeding energy
Yeah.
to create the soul, right?
And in my mind, like, since Dragonborn were like eggs, right? Then you have that little soul right there. This is really evil stuff. So
Yeah, of course.
it's
That's
not
why
good.
we're trying to stop it.
So,
Or at least some of us are trying to
The
stop
Shadow Leviathan stopped it.
it. Yeah.
Maybe the Shadow Leviathan.
However,
No, Tiznip was doing that in a different
Yeah,
location.
Oh,
so this
Tiznip,
was-
that's right.
So
That's right.
Tiznip is a previous guy that the party came across his work back in the
The remnants of his work.
I think it's safe to say.
Anyway, so the important thing there is that Solus and other Warforged here in Form believed that it was just this arcane energy or spiritual energy that was compressed into a form into this soul stone, and then it would awake up and start to understand that
When
it
a
was.
mommy Warforged and a daddy
And-
Warforged love each other very much.
We're going to get into the birds and the Warforged here.
in the Fae,
Birds and the Soul Stones.
in Teor, they have a process for bringing consciousness to plants and animals. It's probably more so with a plant than maybe an animal, but like conceptually, I think it might be similar, where they essentially awaken a consciousness in something that didn't necessarily have it there, and the plant matter just acts as housing for this new
And
consciousness.
how do they do that?
I don't know. I'm not really a
And you
Not
people
really
are
druid.
weird.
not really a
The
druid.
weirdest person I've been with was a tabaxi.
Can't say I've had the pleasure of working with many tabaxis.
I only know one, and he was hairless. So.
No. That would have been weird. The fur actually made it really comfy.
But I mean, the magical theory that I'm not really a academic when it comes to magic. I more so just go off feeling. But it seems similar conceptually. And it's worth hypothesizing that perhaps this process takes a great deal of energy, and that the eruption was maybe caused by a malfunction in said device. The Shadows Leviathan might be here by accident.
Well, and they could have been tapping those other planes of existence for energy.
Potentially.
Maybe that's where it got.
Maybe that's what
from.
the Soul Forge is used for.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that is what a Soul Forge is actually a machine that taps those other energies.
And perhaps maybe
And the
the
Shadow
time
Leviathan
to
just
show off
followed it
this
through.
said machine would be, maybe that's what they were celebrating.
Yeah, could be, for sure.
It was like the grand finale of the festival or something.
Or the opening,
Yeah.
or whatever.
So maybe the Soul Forge is back in the park?
Perhaps.
No, because I think they said the Soul Forge was in the laboratory, right?
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did? Okay.
But the
But
laboratory is destroyed.
I can
The
verify.
vault.
Solus can verify that. Yeah.
The vault is underneath the laboratory, and that's fine. It's the laboratory that was destroyed.
But there's definitely something in the park, though, because they just...
Yeah, there's a
You just
fountain.
mentioned there was something in the park that helped create something related to soul stones in the park.
Yeah.
So it's worth taking a look at
Should we
after
go-
Yeah.
we visit the vault.
And they did say that it was the Festival of Sparks, right?
Yes. They call it the Great Spark Festival.
Could it be the
That's what she called it.
fountain? Because the fountain made me into a metal man.
I
Shiny metal.
don't know. I doubt it. I would expect to see something more machine, but my expectations could be wildly off.
I don't know. Well, take your rest. I will stand watch.
Right, we rest.
Okay. Who's taking the first watch?
I guess
I'll take the first watch.
Okay.
And then you guys can switch off.
Okay. Can we put just for story's sake? Can we put Loonwell and Huggles at the end?
Sure.
Great. That would be great. Okay. Jack, as you take watch, where do you go up to the roof? Where are you at? Are you watching out a window? Peeking out
Yeah,
at
so
the
kind of describe how this is. Is it kind of like destroyed so I could like kind of see inside if I was on the roof, or is it kind of one of the more closed off buildings?
Right. So this one, it has a second story, but
Well, we were on the second story. That's where
oh,
Huggles'
that's right.
parents were.
That's right. The second story has been sheared off on like an angle.
Okay.
So there's the room where he's keeping his parents, and that still has a ceiling and a roof. But there is another room that you could go into that has no roof there.
So I'll
you
go
could,
into
you
that
could
room
climb
and
up
be, like,
onto
on
the you could climb up onto the top from up there and get a good view of the whole some of the city.
Yeah, so I'll do that so I can kind of watch the room down below and the rest of the city.
All right. Okay. As you're up there, the atmosphere gets very still. You can see, as the sun sets, you can start to see little points of light that almost look like stars, but inside the city. You see them moving through the streets more. There's not thousands of them, but maybe a dozen or two that you see pass by neighboring streets or intersections. As you're looking around, you can
Do
see
any of them
just
get close enough
flashes
where I
of
can
light.
see it?
Yeah, one of them starts to come closer, and the orb of light starts coming down the road that's this home is on.
I think I would
you're-
like stealthily, because that's just who I am, get up to the edge of the roof and just kind of get as close as I can to see it.
Okay. This one is blinking, which is not what this other soul orb that you guys caught before. This one seems to be pulsing pretty regularly. And each pulse is a fade to almost just a dim nightlight, lightning bug, and then it will pulse up and be bright again, and then slowly fade back down again. And as you're watching it and it starts to fade down, suddenly you feel as if you are starting to fade as well. Your vision in your periphery is getting dark and dim, and then it will come back and snap back as it pulses back up. And then as it starts to fade, not that you're falling asleep, but you feel like it's almost like what you want to do, but you can't because you're an elf. But I want you to make an intelligence. I do want you to make an intelligence saving throw. And
Is this
15.
being charmed?
No. Okay.
Or sorry, 16.
Okay.
13
All right.
plus 3.
The light continues to fade, and you feel pulled at it, but you blink a couple times, and you're able to pull back from it.
Cool.
And
Yeah, I'll just like shake my head
Yeah.
and like go back.
like, I'm an elf.
I'm not doing that.
I can fall asleep. I'm an elf.
Silly orb. You can't do that to me.
All right. You have a very unsettling feeling about you, though, as it continues on down the street. And watching it, you feel very much almost like you're alone in the world. How about that?
Just like my childhood.
There you go.
Good times.
All right. Who do you wake up for the next watch?
We probably would have talked about it, so I don't know. Who wants to go next?
Eddie can go next.
I'll wake up Eddie,
All right. Eddie, where do you take your station at?
and then I'll go sleep in the bed.
He would probably take it from the broken area where you can just he can watch the door, because I'm assuming everybody's inside there resting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that he can watch the door, make sure nothing's going to go disturb them, but then just kind of keeps his view. You know, I don't want to have a big overarching view, just kind of narrow here concerning with what we've got. yeah, for sure.
All right. You also, I don't know if Jack warns you or not, but
If you asked if anything odd happened,
Yeah,
I
okay.
would have told you about
Give me an
that weird
update.
thing.
Okay.
so you also can see these orbs just floating through the city. Much more visible now that it's dark out.
Sure.
You can see this light approach, and then you see the walls of some building across the road, or at the corner start to light up, and you can see it pulsing. Another one turns the corner and starts coming down the road towards you, and it again starts fading out, and your eyes squint along with it, and then you blink back suddenly, and then it starts to dim again. Make an intelligence saving throw. 15.
All right. This guy can. And I will definitely use a luck point for
Okay.
that.
Gotta ease them up.
Oh, man, it was on a 20 and then it rolled the 14, but that gives me
Still safe. Still
16.
safe.
Okay.
Gives me a 16, so.
You almost found you feel you resist this pull of almost like being hypnotized by it, but you feel almost a hunger coming from this orb as it continues its way down, and you pull away and duck back down behind the wall just as it's slowing down, and then it pauses for a moment and continues on down the street.
Okay.
But yeah, the feeling that you get is hunger.
And what was the feeling you got?
Tired, right?
And being alone.
Oh yeah, alone. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
And I will pass, I'm assuming Sophrina's next, so I'll pass along his alone feeling and then my hunger feeling that I got from one of these. So, just throwing it out there to you two, does it seem like that their last... And what was the emotion the main emotion we got off of the soul or the soul that we have captured in the Pokeball? Originally?
She is a little bit different in that...
Oh yeah, she doesn't dim, right?
Yeah, she doesn't like pulse and stuff, and so...
Okay.
And well, you can't talk to him anyway, but...
Right.
You actually had a conversation, well, Eights had something of a conversation with her and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't feel like they were trying to talk to you necessarily. But that yeah, you just felt like they were, like it was hungry.
Okay.
Okay. Zafrina, what is her reaction to seeing these orbs
Her reaction is, our thought
traversing through the city?
is that it's based on the information I gathered from these two, that it's most likely some other kind of defense system. So something that, I mean, it didn't pose any immediate danger, but something to be aware of. So I'm going to be inside the building. I'm not going to try and focus on it or do too much to it, because I might not be as lucky as the other two. But just, be aware of more physical and present threats, if there are any.
Okay.
And, just take time to check on Eights, make sure Eights is okay, and, just make sure nothing comes through trying to kick its way through the front door or anything.
Okay. Eights still lays motionless in this powered down state. It's impossible to tell if she's...
Is it completely powered down, or is it like a low power, like a sleep mode on a computer, or like shut off?
Like shut off. Make a... So like mechanics
Technology and
check.
tech.
Crafting. There's a...
Arcana?
Yeah, make an Arcana check. That would work.
Turn it off and on again. Unplug it and plug it back in.
I mean...
Guidance. 14.
Okay. You still recognize that the Soul Stone has energy in it.
So it's still intact.
Right.
It's just got overloaded, most likely.
Right. So you're not worried that she's dead necessarily. Just that she's been unresponsive though for
Quite some time.
for the entire night since she fell over. But from what you can tell, the Soul Stone still looks like it's powering her somehow.
Great. I want to review and try and maybe cross-reference the information that we got from the Huggles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that their last name?
Stormkin is her last name.
From the Stormkins, because they're looking for the Soul Forge.
Right.
Cross-reference anything that looks similar to that from what the information Souls gave us, specifically about, the Soul Stone creation device that was supposed to be in the park, or along with this, just trying to connect the dots here, because I feel like we got a lot of floating dots out there.
Yeah, it's a mystery still. I admit, it's a mystery still. We're still in mystery mode, so that's fine. Make a investigation or research. So probably investigation.
Okay, plus this 16.
All right, that's pretty good. You spend the time reading through their journal and their notes, and you can find out a little bit more about what they speculated this Soul Forge was. And you also find, I don't think I gave an initial previously, but let's give that it seems like they were hired or
No,
at
you
least...
should hire by X.
Oh, yeah, okay, I did
Lord
give you
X.
that.
Mhm.
All right, then, never mind. You already know that.
Well,
But not
we were
Professor
hired with a
X.
letter that was signed Lord X.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so I did give you that already. Looking through my other notes that they have, the
I should have just if you like kept it.
It would have been the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So I just have what I wrote out on them before.
So do we?
Soul Forge, yeah.
So you were saying that the soul that we captured, that was wandering around and was bumping around the sign, didn't do that dimming thing.
Correct.
All the other glowing orbs we've seen have done the dimming thing.
Not all of
only
them.
at night.
Not all of them.
Okay.
That's a good question. No, it's just that when one passes by, it seems to affect you.
Only the ones that happened last night, though. Not like the ones coming in that we were coming in and we had those orbs.
Right.
those
You can
squares.
if you watch. I mean, you're taking watch for several hours, right? So so as you watch, you see some that are just steadily blinking. Not steadily blinking. There's some that are blinking and some that seem to have a steady light.
Okay.
So there's two different kinds.
So there's two different
The
kinds.
blinking and the non-blinking.
Right, and you'll see a steady one. They seem to be. I would best describe them as like they seem to know where they're going. It looks like they'll go and they'll turn.
They have a pre-programmed route,
Yeah, almost like they're
Which makes me-
taking some kind of route, right?
which makes me think that their defense system potentially.
But the blinking ones don't.
Blinking ones seem to be almost like I would describe them as like stumbling, almost like drunk.
Interesting.
Like they wander back and forth across the street, and they'll go in these zigzag patterns, or they'll like circle around something, like they'll get to some pillar or block or something like that, and they'll circle around it a couple times, slowly just fading and coming back. And so you've got, let's say,
So those ones are
there's two
wanderers,
distinct-
almost
yeah,
like they're
call them
they're
wanderers.
searching.
That's called
for something, and
wanderers,
the other
yeah.
ones are more like they're on a mission. They know where they're going. They're doing something specific.
Yeah.
Sentinels.
And when you met, or when you caught this other one, I don't think we gave her a name yet, but
Not yet.
we'll call her Alice.
Okay.
When you caught her, she was trying to go somewhere. She just had run into, I think I said it was a sign or something like that that had fallen over.
Yeah, you said it was like a sign to to like a shop or something.
Yeah, like this shop sign that had fallen over into her path, and she was just bump into it, come back, bump into it, come back, bump into it, come back.
Okay.
But yeah, let's make it clear that I want to make sure it's clear that there are some of these orbs that seem to be more whole than other ones, as far as their comportment of how they are.
So am I able to tie any pieces of this mystery together with the 16? Because you were saying I was going through the Stormkin's notes,
Yeah.
found that thing about Lord X. I was trying to see if there was any connecting points between what they were looking for, the information that we got regarding the soul creation device in the park,
Right.
and everything else that we've learned from souls. Try to connect any of these floating dots that were out there.
You got a 16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you're researching it and trying to piece things together, making your own notes, you get some kind of, not a chronology, but you start to piece things together that seem to belong to each other. And you have this, you've got this festival, and you've got the not invention, the
Laboratory?
discovery that Apex made at the laboratory. You put those two together. You've got the Soul Forge, and you know that that's held though in the park, but you don't know what the connection is yet still between the Soul Forge and what this discovery was necessarily, except that whatever Apex was investigating had a lot of power involved in it. You can surmise that if the Stormkins were trying to recover this Soul Forge, they don't have a wagon, they don't have a ship or
potentially
something like
small.
that, and so it's probably something small that you would be able to carry out.
Unless there's an airship.
Yeah, unless there's a crashed airship somewhere. There's always a possibility there's a crashed airship somewhere.
Never
Find
know.
them in almost every Final Fantasy game.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But you
It's
could
just a big
you could
open-
surmise. I'll give you that. You could surmise that as you're reading through their description of this thing, it appears to be not necessarily mechanical in nature, as much as it might be arcane or crafted some other way.
Okay. And this one might be a bit of a stretch, but
I
Lord-
haven't written out a description of it, but let's say you could recognize it from the description that's
Okay.
in there.
Lord X. Now, there is a Zafrina being,
Now, you did say we know the Soul Forge is in the park,
Right.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's where they were supposed to be looking for it. I think that's why you guys ended up going there as well.
We just went through there because Huggies.
We were looking for the things that took the memories.
Oh,
but
yeah,
they
that's
weren't there,
right.
so we
That's
left.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
We weren't really looking for a Soul Forge or
Not
anything,
there,
so
huh?
we could do that whenever we wake up.
I have no intention of giving it back to Lord X.
No.
So, with Zafrina being a socialite and her job being to know things about things and people
Right.
and stuff, is there any handwriting analysis I can do on Lord X's
Oh.
thing to kind of get an idea of personality traits and kind of figure out, okay, this person might be from Pawatch, or they're probably an outsider to this region.
Okay.
Or just-
give me one more investigation check, but it's going to be hard. It needs to be a 20.
Okay.
And if you can get a 20, I'll tell you something.
Nope.
Okay.
I got an 18.
All right. You study it intently, though. If you ever saw this handwriting again, I'm sure you would recognize it.
Okay.
If you ever see it again. But you don't pick up any tells. Like, you study it thinking, oh, maybe, is this a woman's handwriting? I don't know. Is this a...
Or is it affect is there an affecture to it that would let you know where they were from?
The one thing that
Right.
leads me on this hunch,
Yeah.
to do to know all, is I'm mostly curious at the moment to the penmanship. So,
Sure.
if you're looking at the Constitution,
Uh-huh.
for example, you can tell it's definitely it's
Written.
English, but it's old.
Yeah.
It's a very old style of writing, as opposed to, my handwriting, which is very sloppy and very modern.
And you can tell it's ill-used, right? Because
Right.
you're going to type something if it's going to be professional.
Right.
So.
Is an 18 good enough to get a general idea of that?
It's very formal and very nicely written.
So
Jack didn't write
Yeah. No, Jack definitely did not write it.
But not necessarily like a very old practiced form of common.
No, not necessarily.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if this was perhaps written by somebody who had been here and knew of the full Soul Forge's existence in the first place.
Okay.
Because Zafrina's trying to figure out
How they know?
how they knew
Sure.
it was there in the first place.
Sure. Okay.
Research.
Well, they must. That's kind of my conclusion. Zafrina's conclusion at this point is they must have stumbled across some information somewhere outside of form that made them think that it's there.
Yeah. So
Or maybe there's. Go ahead.
the handwriting is impeccable. It's very well done by somebody who's very well practiced and very well read, and cares very much about
Appearance.
appearance and language, or at least communication. So, but you don't get any clues about if it's what area it might be from, or if it's a male or female or anything like
Do
that.
you know any lords that start with an X? Through your
Do I?
social mingling?
Nope.
No,
Too
this-
easy.
This is probably not someone. This is probably a stage name. It's probably not the real name.
An actor.
That's probably a safe assumption. Darn actors.
I dated an actor once.
An actor, really?
Yeah, it was a changeling though. So it really just depended
Wow.
on how they felt that day.
Well, I mean, you know.
It didn't last very long.
Wide possibilities. You go to bed with every night with a different person. There's no, I mean, keeps things fresh. Dating a changeling could be interesting.
Anyway, all right. So Zafrina studies. You do notice the lights outside. Do you study them at all, or?
No, I don't want to mess too much around with them
Okay.
because Safrina knows her strengths and she knows her weaknesses, and she knows that, like she said, she's not a magical academic, and I don't really have anything that could protect me from this and allow me to look at it
Yeah.
safely. So I'm not gonna risk messing with it here.
Okay.
That's fair. Let Jack do it.
As you pass your turn over to Huggles and go to bed, feel like you just close your eyes and then are awakened suddenly by Loonwell, who is shaking you awake and yelling at you. He's gone. He's gone. He was supposed to wake me up, but look, and like the sun's up, and
Question: I only need 4 hours of sleep,
yep.
so
So
I don't hear anything or anything like that.
so
Because elves technically only go in trances, so if there's any loud noises, I would hear it.
in this case, it wouldn't have been a loud noise.
Okay.
You wake up and Huggles is missing.
Immediately, the first thing we do is check and see if Huggles took anything.
Nothing appears to be missing, and his parents are also still in the room, sitting there at the chairs that they were in.
A bit disappointing, but not unexpected.
Yeah. I think he could have gotten hijacked by one of the orbs too. If he
That's a possibility,
just
but I think it's more so that he
just
probably just decided
wanted to go home
to not be here.
and just leaves saddling us with his parents.
Oh, I don't feel saddled or responsible for them at all.
Well, unfortunately,
I think we should go check
he will
the.
to an extent.
Like how Zafrina doesn't understand.
I think we should go check the park. I don't think he would have just left.
You think you went and checked out the park?
Yeah, because he was saddled with his parents for days before we came. Why would
Yeah.
this change anything?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Do we want to go back to the park and check for the Soul Forge?
No,
No.
I want to secure the vault, and then we can go deal with other people's mess.
Okay.
Well, we can pass the park on the way, right? Because I mean, we kind
Here's
of
my
did
thing.
before.
We kind of went through it before, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
We-
So let's go check the park to see if Huggles is there, and if he's not, then we'll go straight to the vault.
Very well. I just want to stress that we don't know how much time it will take for us to actually get into and bypass all the security for the vault and bring everything back. And so I just want to make sure that we do the job we've been paid to do.
Well,
That-
wasn't part of the job the Soul Forge?
No.
No, that wasn't
not
part of
at
the
all.
job.
No, they didn't even mention it.
Oh,
That
I thought it was part. I'm not gonna lie. Jack thought it was part of the mission. So.
I am genuinely interested in the Soul Forge and would like to make sure we take care of that
Acquire
as
it, yeah.
our number 2 priority. I think there's somebody wants this thing, and I am interested in why they want it.
Obviously, they paid Stormkin. All right.
Yep.
Okay, Stormkin to come get it.
Well, or they just contracted them and they never paid anticipate.
I'm in the business of knowing things, and this is something I don't know, and I would like to know because I think there's more money
Well,
to
plus,
be
I
made here.
mean, there's potentially a political game as well.
Absolutely.
To make inroads with a powerful person that's got a lot of money.
And let us pretend that this device will allow the creation of safe creation of new soulstones.
They could
If
build
we-
an army of warforges.
Or we could all of a sudden become the new best friends of the Warforged Council in Polwatch and have anything and everything at our disposal.
I like my army better.
Personal mercenaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have people
Adix
that-
Intrepidus is going to get you.
He is so big.
That's what I'm saying.
Whether it's by threat of
Aids and Tobias will
soldier
just
or
bring it
by
out.
political influence, there is
Adis.
much to be
Drones.
gained.
Drones for you. Gods.
Anyway,
Onward to the
I've seen
park.
this movie. It doesn't
Yes.
turn out well.
Yeah. Execute Plan 66.
you either die the hero or live long enough to become a bad guy.
I always
Okay.
become a bad guy somehow.
You pass through the park. You don't. You know what? Make a perception checks. See if anybody can track him. We lost our ranger. We don't have a ranger anymore. But
I rolled a 1. I
right.
don't give a shit.
25.
Apparently.
25.
okay.
I'm not going to do better than that.
All right.
So I'm not going to roll.
You know what? You see, it's dirty and dusty around here, and tracks are to be found if you're looking for them. You find some that are that head through the streets, and you notice that they're kind of erratic the way that they're walking. And
Almost like they're running from something.
no, it's just that they don't always go the direction that you expect. Like you're following tracks, and you're like, okay, we're gonna come up here. I can guess that they're going all the way up to this corner, but then you like spot one off to the side, and you're like, wait, what the? And then it comes back. But they are slowly leading you back towards the laboratory, the great laboratory.
Interesting. Cool. Well, let's head there then.
Okay. When you arrive, you find a rope tied to a pillar at the top of this pit.
Huggles is trying to get there before us.
Oh, maybe.
Well, let's hope he's run into some of the traps for us.
I'm surprised he did this. He seemed kind of like a coward to me.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be it. But there is a rope that's going down there.
Do you think
And
he
we go
looked?
look down? Can we see it?
It goes down to a platform about 50 feet down.
One thing we got super involved in before we had a chance to really do anything else is, did AIDS wake back up?
Eights does wake up
Before we
in the
leave.
morning.
And I just want to, did you have anything useful, like helpful to share from your
They were
very brief exchange?
Alice is her name, by the way. Was quite agitated
Beautiful name.
when Solus tried to explain to her. I don't know if I was telling the right things, but she seemed to not accept that so much time had passed, and she was quite concerned as to where her family
Sure.
unit had
Did
gone
you tell her
to,
that they died?
and what had happened to them. And when she started to think about what had happened, she remembered that I don't know how they don't have like mothers and fathers, but assume that they're in,
Mentors, maybe?
yeah,
Yeah,
like that, right?
Mentor, guardian?
Her guardians were there at the festival, and she was expecting to meet them there. And if everything was destroyed, then she was quite upset that they would be lost as well. And she desperately wanted to find them.
And were you comforting her or just telling her the facts?
Unfortunately, I tried to.
Because
I tried to defer to Solus, and he seems quite. I believe Tobias would describe him as blunt.
Okay, so that probably didn't help at all.
No, I'm afraid not.
Yeah.
It hasn't helped yet. Give her time.
Okay, so
Yes, there's this platform thing the rope goes down to.
Uh-huh. You've climbed down?
So actually, before we do that,
Okay.
I am going to, as we're standing here, cast Locate Object, and I'm going to think about Huggle's flute. I'd like to know where Huggle's flute is.
Okay. You sense it down at the very bottom of, or down below you.
Okay, so he is ahead of us.
Good call.
That's confirmed. So let us
Onward.
follow.
To kill the half-elf. Huggles cannot betray me.
He was on guard. He could have just ended us there. There's something else going on. He's getting drawn to
I'm
the
thinking
Leviathan.
like he failed his.
Yeah, he's getting drawn to the Leviathan.
Yeah,
Losing all his memories.
that's my guess.
As you get down, you work your way down through the gates, following Solus's instructions and descriptions. You find the first gate you come to is pretty wrecked. But you find as you go down further...
Does it look like it was recently wrecked?
Oh no, like forever ago.
Okay.
It's like this. The ceiling has collapsed in and stuff, and
Yeah.
and the lower they go, though, as you go down in these levels, the more intact things appear to be.
Huggles is the big bad.
As if things were like falling down, and then
Great.
That would be awesome.
slowly you get down to where things are less wrecked necessarily. However, you get down to the very
Is it still
So
like
the
dusty
explosion
or?
seems to have come from above rather
correct.
than below?
Yeah. So the
Oh,
explosion
okay.
that came from up above, and as you're going down too, the walls are thick here. I mean, calling it a vault is probably an apt description.
More like a
As you-
Fort Knox style
Yeah.
vault?
As you get down, the walls are seem thick.
Bunker vault.
Yeah, exactly. You get down to the last piece of it, and to the last floor, where you come to this giant door, this giant vault door with a huge locking mechanism on it. These big steel beams that cross over and lock into positions, two on each side, holding the door closed. However, as you look up, you can see that there is a hole that goes through the ceiling where you're at, all the way up to the sky up above. And you can see that whatever was falling down made it all the way down this far. In front of the door, in front of the vault, you find several, at this level you find several Warforged bodies lying just inert.
Great, we'll dump them into the
around
bag of holding.
ground. I don't know how many will hold that. You can hold a bunch, I guess, but...
We'll do that after danger is past.
Okay, so
okay,
go ahead.
so you pass several collapsed Warforged bodies, and then you come up to this door, and you can see Huggles, Stormkin, standing there, and next to him is this glowing,
That's a
pulsing orb of light, and it's just floating there next to on his shoulder, basically. But instead of pulsing slowly, it's going quickly, faster and faster and faster and faster.
I wonder if the Shadow Leviathan is a collection of entities.
Could be that for sure.
Because you described hunger alone, and also in your communication with the Shadow Leviathan, you mentioned that it wanted memories,
yeah.
which we know these things take. Perhaps the Shadow Leviathan is not just one being, but a collection of things.
Sure.
It's all great and all. Are we going to try to stop Huggles from doing whatever he's doing?
Oh,
or are we going to let him do that?
Be my guest. Go ahead. Stab him in the back. I'll watch.
Oh, I could easily do that.
Well, I'm assuming
not talking
that
about
he's under some kind of
right.
magic.
I'm wondering if we
so-
let him open the gate. If he can open the gate. Or
Well, I mean, we need to.
Are they actively doing anything?
So Huggles
Yeah,
is standing in front of the vault, and you can see he's manipulating the lock.
Yeah,
If he
let's
knows.
prepare. Let's wait.
Yeah, because I mean we have no idea how to open this thing, so
Right.
I say we let him do it.
Death ward.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm actually going to do something that I've rarely ever done. I'm going to invoke duplicity. So there are now 2 of me currently.
Okay. Yeah. I think you used that like way back. No, that was a mirror. Image.
Level 1, I used it.
Yeah.
But I've thought of some ways to use it more effectively. So
okay.
we're going to give it a shot.
I remember way back fighting.
It just takes too many
cultists.
because it's so because you have to. It's an action. So unless you're doing it early, you don't want to do it in combat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. All right. This light pulses faster and faster as he
And
spins
guidance.
these dials,
In case we have to make any kind of check.
and then finally, what is he mumbling? You can hear that he's saying something
I'm going to try and find a little bit of
under his
cover,
breath. Okay.
if there is any. Maybe there's rubble nearby that I can kind of hide behind or step behind.
Yeah, things down
While they're
here
being
look like it
cowards,
was.
I'm gonna go and try to listen to what he's saying, like see if I can hear the spell or hear what he's saying.
Okay.
I'm not
He's-
trying to hide or anything. I don't care if something happens.
He's mumbling, almost like like under his breath. He's just saying, I can't remember what it was. What was it? I can't remember it. What was it? It's right there. What am I supposed to? What am I supposed to? And he starts pulling on this the door to the vault, and you can see it creak open. But as it starts to pull open, he hesitates, like he's pulling really hard against it, and then from inside you can see a metallic hand reach out around the door.
Is it like a clawed finger or more like a mechanical hand?
Like a warforged hand, so not clawed.
Is it huge or just regular
Just
size?
regular size, maybe a little bit bigger than maybe it's like a 6'6" type guy, but it's not a giant or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Reaches over and you can see 2 of them, and it's trying to pull the door back closed again. But as soon as it opens,
I'll
you see
seem
flashes of
struggle.
light as these orbs start flooding down up above you and start coming into the room through the hole up above, and the room is suddenly lit up by dozens, and then another dozen, and then another dozen. They're just flooding into here, and Huggles pulls open. Finally,
If I see him struggling, I'll grab and pull.
okay.
Help him open the door.
Okay. As you pull open the vault, this Warforged comes stumbling out, and he is.
I have Gauntlet of Ogre Strength, so I can just touch his shoulder, grab it, and throw it open.
I forgot we got those. And you took
right.
them.
No one else wanted them, so I'm like, I'll be super strong. Why not?
His plating looks just dented and beat up, and
rusted.
Yeah, in some places rusted, some places covered in dark scars,
Gouges.
Scorch marks?
scorch marks, and he comes stumbling out. As you yank on it, he loses his footing and comes stumbling out and collapses down to his knees and says, "What have you done?"
I didn't do it.
Out of the vault pours this infinite blackness that envelops the entire room, and you can see these little sparks wink out, chunk, 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 as it approaches you, until it envelops everybody on this level. And we'll end there tonight.
Nah.
I guess we're fighting the Shadow Lord. Sweet.
Nice.
This
That
is
was
good.
awesome. That was
This
awesome.
means I can tell Michael he can get really creative
Oh,
on
yeah.
whatever character he's going to make.
Oh, great.
Okay. Yeah, we will pick up again next week as you guys will figure out what happened and how to fix whatever it is that you just opened.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
You're holding the door open.
Huggles did it.
That's like the first thing you see as Jack gets like covered up in this wall of darkness. He's like, wasn't me.
Well, I just imagine because he like falls down saying that, and Jack
Yeah.
just like lets go. I'm like, wasn't me. It was open when I got here.
And then he just disappears into this dark shadow. All right.
That was awesome.
Okay, we'll end there tonight, and we'll pick up again next week. We'll see everybody on Monday, and we hope you have a good week, everybody. Thanks for playing along with the mystery. I know sometimes mysteries are frustrating. How are you guys as players with like mysteries like this kind of stuff?
I love
fine.
mysteries. I think
Good?
they're
Yeah,
fun.
All right.
I like it. It's just fine.
Jack's not very
I know
investigative,
sometimes
though,
it's like
so.
when you're not getting answers right away, it's hard for me to pace that sometimes. So
No, I think it's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with the information or the lack of information that we've got so far.
Keep giving clues.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
it's-
trying to hold it back.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting more and more every time. It's like we're learning more.
Yeah. And it's
progressing.
layering too. It doesn't feel like we're just getting more confused.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, good.
There's a piece there. There's a piece here, and it'll.
I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's not
The-
stagnating
That's good. The promise I can give is that you will learn everything
in time.
pretty soon.
Pretty
That's a
soon.
good way to do it.
All right. All right. See you later, everybody. Bye.